Hi, everybody. Happy New Year's Eve. I got my, you can see my little tag. Hold on, let's move that out, Jeb. Okay, so I'm going to move my hair. So you see my little bows. Look, I'm celebrating with my little bows.
Very festive.
They're black on a navy dress, so I feel like they don't stand out that much, but they're still supposed to be festive. It's a rental. And so speaking of New Year's resolutions, so I guess we weren't, but I'm just going to say, if you've ever thought about trying to lower your carbon footprint, renting and or buying secondhand clothes is a really easy way to do it because fast fashion is horrible for the environment. That is still technically under the climate sustainability umbrella, which includes the weather, but let's get back to the weather while we're on the topic. Today, you guys, was a pretty breezy day across the mountains. It really wasn't that bad here in Charlotte. However, because we've just been so dry and haven't seen rain in so long, plus the low humidity, there is still an elevated fire danger risk throughout this evening and early tomorrow morning. So this will likely end around, let's say, 8 o'clock or so. Now, that's just because that's when we'll start to see temperatures warm up and eventually, hopefully, the humidity starts to go up as well. You can see elevated is essentially a level 1 on the fire risk, but obviously there's an option to be 0, which is where we would prefer to be. Right now, winds are still gusting around 20 or so miles an hour across the mountains, around 15 here in the Charlotte area, 45 right now, feels like 41. Because our winds are still sustained around 7 miles an hour. So as you go throughout this evening, there will likely be a slight wind chill factor, but I would say not more than 2 to 3 degrees colder than what the actual temperature is that you see on the thermometer. As we go hour by hour, the New Year's forecast that we have that comes through our system, I did update these numbers, and I feel like they have not updated appropriately because 5 miles an hour at 40 should be closer to about a 37 feels like temperature, but alas, we know that the countdown is coming, and we know it's going to get colder. So 5, 4, 3, no, just kidding, we're early. But regardless, 40 degrees, feeling like the mid-30s at midnight, y'all. 2026 is almost upon us. It is kind of crazy that 2025 is about to come to an end. However, a really fun year because we got to launch Live Weather Impact. So hopefully you'll tune in 2026 with us. Temperatures tonight will be closer to where we should be for this time of year. About 53 and 33 are our averages for January 1st, December 31st. So 33 for a low in Charlotte. Still going to be chilly, just a little bit higher than the technical freezing mark. And then we're in the upper 20s there up in the mountains. Now, what we are not seeing right now is obviously any kind of rain, which is contributing to why we're under the elevated fire danger risk. However, that is likely going to change by Friday night and into Saturday. Now, here's the deal. We talked about this a little bit yesterday with meteorologist Tim Buckley, and we talked about this as well, myself with you Monday and Tuesday. But we have a complex storm system that's going to be sweeping across the country the next few days. It's right now developing on the west coast of the United States. And as it does so, it is going to bring us more clouds. That's a guarantee. And then that chance for rain. Now, 2 days ago, it was trending widespread rain all day Saturday. But this is why forecasters don't put something like 100% chance of rain still a week out, because then the next day, it was completely dry. And you saw that model last night on Live Weather Impact. All of the rain was south of us. So right now we're starting to see that trend back north. And this is why we discussed last night, again, if you were with us on the show, being cautiously optimistic about seeing rain. Now, no one, I don't think in the history of ever, wants it to rain on the weekend. But we need rain, and so we essentially will take it right when we can get it. We are still very, very dry in comparison to normal for this time of year, and just in general in the Carolinas. We've had continuing drought conditions over the last few months, and so we desperately need rain. Futurecast, here's Friday, 5 p.m. Notice the clouds will just now be building in. Good news here is that we'll actually be pretty warm Friday, getting close to 60, and we'll hit that high temperature before the clouds move in, which means we'll still be warm. The clouds will help act like that blanket. I know we talk about this a lot, which will keep temperatures overnight very mild. So if we reach 60 on Friday, then that means our lows only can get into the 40s with all the clouds. So still chilly, right? But not the 30s like where we are right now. Here's 11 o'clock Friday. You can see a few showers starting to creep in west of our area. And then we are looking at more widespread light to moderate rain for most of Saturday morning, with a lot of this starting to filter out by the afternoon. Now, this is as far out as our model goes. What I can tell you is I likely will be keeping in at least a 30 to 20% chance of rain through most of the afternoon Saturday. But I still think the bulk of the moisture will be in the morning. Duke's Mayo Bowl, of course, coming up on Friday. Still expecting really mild conditions. Again, same thing. We hit 60 on Friday, then the clouds move in, meaning our temperatures will be pretty mild. Upper 40s, low 50s. You saw the model data just a second ago. I'm still keeping that 20% in, not really for actual true rain, but for those areas of clouds, when the patchy clouds get low to the ground and you can get a little bit of mist, some areas of drizzle, I want us to be prepared for that possibility because of all the moisture that will be around. So as we look at your Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day, with the, I guess technically, again, it is warmer, but with the lack of total drop in temperatures Saturday morning to the 30s, this will be a good thing, right? We're only getting into the 40s, which means the morning is relatively mild temperature-wise. However, because we get wedged in, our highs will only reach the upper 40s. So that's probably the grossest day we'll see. 60% chance of rain. Now, this is based on the entirety of the day. I think everybody, and I truly mean everybody, will see rain Saturday morning, but it's likely to not rain all day. So I don't want to put 100% chance and have you guys think that Saturday is going to be a complete mess of a day, but we will likely trend those rain chances upward or downward as we come into better agreement over the next few days. But again, prepare accordingly. Small chance of rain Friday and into early Saturday. We're drier, much more quiet Sunday and beyond into next week, where you can clearly see temperatures will eventually reach back into the mid to even upper 60s. So we're going to go to a 2-minute break. We'll come back with Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley from WFMY and talk more New Year's, how the year wrapped up here in Charlotte and Greensboro. We'll be right back.